Welcome back, my daywalkers, my creatures of the night, my warriors, my wanderers, and everybody else in between. How are you? Welcome back to the Infinite Frequency, L.E.O, Life Equals Opportunity. Just welcome. I hope you're all good. This is now a weekly check-in that I'm doing. And we're going to keep it to one episode a week at the moment. But I hope you're finding the rest of the catalogue good. There's lots to go through. There's nearly 300 episodes now available on this platform. So hopefully you can all find something that you either enjoy or find helpful. And don't forget, it's really good if you engage, chuck a message, tell me what you like, if there's any topics you want me to go into. I don't mind adding the spiritual leader stuff in or anything. Just feel free to send your messages over. So welcome back to the Infinite Frequency. Wherever you are in the world right now, walking, driving, sitting with a coffee, or just taking a moment to breathe, I'm truly glad you're here. This space is our weekly check-in. No filters, no pretending life is perfect, just an honest pause in the week to look at what's really going on inside our heads and inside our lives. So before we go any further, let's take a second and pause and ask yourself a simple question. How has my week been? Now, not the answer we give the other people. I want the honest one. Because sometimes the outside world sees one version of us, while inside we're navigating storms that people know nothing about. So this week has been one of those weeks for me. Now, I'm not going to go into specifics of the situation itself, because I truly believe that some things just, need to stay between, in private if you want, whatever. But what I will talk about is I will talk about what is stirred up inside me, because I do think a lot of people listening will recognise the feeling. So when life puts pressure on you, the mind can start running wild. It definitely does for me. This is when the doubts creep in. The what ifs, the second guessing everything. It's where the old fears we thought we'd dealt with suddenly knock on the door again. And if you're anything like me, the mind doesn't just whisper those thoughts. Sometimes it shouts and screams them. And my mind will start telling stories. It will start telling me worst case scenarios. Old patterns of thinking that trying to drag me backwards. And there was a moment this week where I could feel exactly that happening. The pressure building, life taking its toll, the mind starts spinning, trying to solve everything all at once, which is impossible. And when that happens, if you're like me, it can feel like you're carrying the weight of the whole world on your shoulders. But I guess this is the difference today compared to the man I used to be. Years ago, when that pressure came, I would just try to escape. I'd look for any out. I'd numb it. I'd run from it. I didn't have the tools to sit with difficult thoughts or emotions. I couldn't handle it. And now recovery has taught me something really incredibly important. And I'm going to share this with you. Thoughts are not commands. Sorry, I need a drink. Thoughts are not commands, all right? Just because a thought appears in your mind, it doesn't mean you have to obey it. It took me a long time to realise this. You see, our minds are incredible things. But if it's like me, you know, it's also incredibly noisy up there. The mind produces thousands of thoughts a day. Some helpful, don't get me wrong. Some are nonsense. And some are just fear wearing a clever disguise. One of the greatest skills we can learn in recovery, and in life as well, to be honest, is learning to pause before reacting to those thoughts. I know it sounds simple, right? Or what do I mean? This week I had to remind myself of exactly that. I had to, remind myself that when the mind started racing, I had to slow down. When fear started talking loudly, I didn't answer it straight away. What did I do? Well, instead, I went back to some basics that keep me steady when I need it. I reach out to people I trust. And then I'm able to speak honestly about how I was feeling. I was able to remind myself that I don't have to solve my entire future in that moment. And in fact, I only have to deal with this moment right now. Now, it might sound simple, but it's powerful. And it's powerful and it works, but I will say this as a provisor. I had to build a foundation of people. I had to get a group of people around me that were like-minded, that had been through the situations, that had walked the path that I wanted to walk and are now walking. And it was important to get those people around me whilst I was in a good frame of mind, because if it hadn't have been there once I started to hit these lows and these difficult times, I don't know it would have been as easy. It wouldn't have been as easy to do, and it wasn't easy by any means. You see, when the mind is overwhelmed, it just wants to drag. Like I'll talk about mine. When my mind is overwhelmed, it wants to drag me into tomorrow, into next month, even next year, and it can do that in a split second. It can take me through all of those scenarios, and always the worst case. And you see, where's that gone there? Yeah, and all at once. So, and life doesn't actually happen there. You see, life happens here. Not there, not in the future, not tomorrow, not next week, next month, next year. Life happens here. One moment, one decision, one step. And sometimes the strongest thing that you can do, it isn't fighting the storm in your mind. It's simply letting it pass without reacting to it. So I'm going to pause there for a moment. I'm going to play you a little bit of music, and then I will give you a reflection, and we'll go on to the next part. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope it's making sense so far. So sit back, enjoy the music, and I will be back in 2 seconds. Well, a couple of minutes. Okay, so that was some music by Kevin MacLeod, royalty-free music, and I hope you enjoyed it. So let's go into the reflection. Something became very clear to me this week. Strength isn't always loud, and it isn't always dramatic. And in fact, most of the time, strength looks very quiet. It looks like someone choosing not to react in anger. It looks like someone picking up the phone instead of isolating. It looks like someone breathing through a difficult moment rather than running from it. Those small decisions may not look heroic from the outside, but they are exactly what build a different life over time. And every time we make one of those choices, we strengthen a new path in our mind. So I'm going to read that again, then I'll give you some tools for the week, and then I'll finish up with the thought of the week. Let's read the reflection. I'll give you some tools, maybe a bit of music, and then we'll do the thought. So let's go. So I'll read this reflection again. Something became very clear to me this week. Strength isn't always loud. It isn't always dramatic. In fact, most of the time, strength looks very quiet. It looks like someone choosing not to react in anger. It looks like someone picking up the phone instead of isolating. It looks like someone breathing through a difficult moment rather than running from it. Those small decisions may not look heroic from the outside, but they are exactly what build a different life over time. And every time we make one of those choices, we strengthen a new path in our mind. So that's my reflection upon the week. So tools that actually helped me this week. If you're listening and you're listening to this and your own mind has been loud lately, I'm going to give you a few simple things that genuinely helped me this week and do help me. First, pause. Before believing your mind, your thoughts, just pause. Because not every thought actually deserves our attention. Some thoughts are just fear trying to get a reaction. And I find that pausing can sometimes isolate that reaction. Second though, do not isolate. When things get heavy, when it gets difficult, there's a temptation to retreat into your own head. But from my experience, talking to someone you can trust, you can break through that spiral almost instantly. I have some very good contacts. I can pick the phone up and straight away it can change my whole outlook or where I'm at. And this one is awesome. Sorry if you can hear Marnie moaning. She's half asleep. And the third one, shrink the problem down today. What do I mean? Well, just like me, you don't have to fix your entire life tonight. Just stay steady. That's enough for today. Just don't engage in old behaviours today. And just slow down. I am now going to read the thought of the week. I'll give a closing statement, and then I will love you and leave you. So here we go, the thought of the week. Here's something to carry with you over the next few days. When life puts pressure on you, don't measure your strength by how easy things feel. Measure it by how you respond. Sometimes strength is simply staying calm when your mind wants to panic. Sometimes strength is asking for help instead of pretending you're fine. And sometimes strength is just making it through the day without going back to the things that once destroyed you. Progress in life and recovery rarely comes in giant leaps. More often, it's built quietly, one steady choice at a time. I will read that thought of the week one more time for you, and then I will say a closing line, and we shall be done. Here's something to carry with you. Here's something to carry with you over the next few days. So, when life puts pressure on you, don't measure your strength by how easy things feel. Instead, measure it by how you respond. You see, sometimes strength is simply staying calm when your mind wants to panic. Sometimes strength is asking for help instead of pretending you're alright, you're fine. And sometimes strength is just making it through the day without going back to the things that once destroyed you. Progress in life and recovery rarely comes in giant leaps. More often it is built quietly, one steady choice at a time. So, my daywalkers, my creatures of the night, my warriors, my wanderers, and everybody else in between, wherever you are in the world, first of all, I thank you for tuning in and for finding the infinite frequency. I thank you for giving me your time, and I hope that you find some kind of peace or whatever it is you're looking for, and maybe a connection. And remember, I love each and every single one of you, and I want the best for all of you. And if any of you are struggling, please don't be alone. Pick the phone up. Chuck me a message. Chuck me a message in the DMs here, and I'll message you back. You're not alone anymore. And remember, no matter what storms you're walking through, right now, you're still here. You're still standing. And sometimes that alone is a powerful victory. So until next time, stay steady, stay honest, and keep tuning into the infinite frequency.